set to get a step closer to the Modi government's much-awaited Waqf reform. As the JPC report on the Waqf Amendment Bill 2024 is expected to be tabled in the Parliament today, the Joint Parliamentary Committee headed by Jagdambika Pal approved the draft report incorporating 14 amendments proposed by the members based on the majority vote. Now, the opposition had also proposed some amendments, but they were defeated with 10 votes in support of 16 votes against. So, in total, 44 amendments were actually discussed clause by clause, and after 6 months of a detailed discussion, the JPC held 34 sittings over 108 hours, and over 284 stakeholders were consulted before reaching a final decision. However, the opposition leaders strongly criticized the JPC's handling of the meetings, alleging that they were denied a fair opportunity to voice their concerns. The opposition had also claimed that the amendments were in fact pushed through without proper discussions. Hence, the report is going to be set to be tabled in the Parliament today, but one can expect another showdown in the Parliament. Now, let's tell you what are the changes that have been brought about. We told you about how the JPC, the Joint Parliamentary Committee, had several sittings to discuss the amendments in the JPC. Let's speak about what are the actual changes that we're going to see. The discussions after it is tabled in the Lok Sabha will be discussed. So let's tell you what are the changes that have been made. No cases will be reopened retrospectively. Apart from that, the disputed government properties are going to be an exception. That's one of the changes that has been made as well to the Waqf bill. In fact, the state level officer will be adjudicating the disputes. There had been discussions. Remember, the opposition had also raised this as one of the issues. And apart from that, only one practicing Islam for at least 5 years may declare a Waqf. So that's one change that has been made, that those who are practicing Islam for at least 5 years, they may declare a Waqf property. Apart from that, there is no Waqf by user clause deemed Waqf based solely on the prolonged use for religious purposes. My colleague Tejshri is joining us on the broadcast with the details. Tejshri, there have been a lot of sittings in the Joint Parliamentary Committee meeting of the Waqf taking place, and there are some changes that have been made as well. But the opposition has raised some issues yet again, saying their proposal were not taken into consideration. There are changes that have been made to the bill already. Take us through what has been changed and the discussion around it, and why the opposition feels that their voices have been ignored. Tejshri? Okay, all right. We'll try and go back to Tejshri for that update. So you're seeing the visuals on the screens. Remember, the JPC report is all set to be tabled in the Parliament today. This also could mean that there will be discussions in the Lok Sabha, yes, but there could also be a stormy session. Remember, the opposition has been opposing any amendment to the Waqf bill from the very beginning. After a joint parliamentary panel was made, there have been discussions that have taken place regarding the same. So let's try to decode this deadlock and what it was about, and the contention that was made and what it actually means. Now, we spoke about Waqf by user. That was one of the terms that had been used. What it actually means is that anyone can donate to Waqf. Religious use is on the basis of the claim. Now, let's tell you what the government wants in this regard. The government has made it clear that only practicing Muslims can actually donate, and returning to the original Congress era clause. So that is going to be one of the issues. The opposition, what it wanted was, do not change the current provisions at all. That's the demand that had come in from the opposition. In fact, let's tell you what are the changes that have been brought about as well, why amendments are not amenable, and what those who wanted no change in Waqf actually want. First is, of course, saying that there should be omitting of the Waqf by user clause completely. No non-Muslims in the Waqf board. That's one of the issues that they have raised as well. They've said, why have non-Muslims in the board? The clarification that has come in from the BJP is that Waqf deals with properties. It is not dealing with the dargahs or the mosques. This is properties which belongs to all, and that's the reason why there are non-Muslims who are also going to be part of the board. Apart from that, no 5-year practicing Muslim clause that is going to be included this time. The opposition has raised an objection to it and has said, why bring in this clause at all? Why say that only a Muslim who has been practicing Islam for 5 years can be brought into this clause? Apart from that, the opposition is also against the government property is not Waqf property clause. And apart from that, they have also said that the collector must not arbitrate the cases. These are some of the issues that the opposition has raised. Tejshi is back on the phone line with us. Tejshi, stormy session expected in the parliament today.
Well, absolutely, yes. Today, the parliament will certainly be witnessing a showdown between the opposition and the government. And in fact, the report was submitted to Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla on 30th of January. And now it will be tabled today after several amendments were made. In fact, remember that there were total in all 34 sittings for this particular report before tabling, and in fact there were several amendments that were suggested by the opposition and the leaders who participated from the government side as well. And in fact we saw that in fact in all these meetings also there were kind of arguments that took place. There were kind of several war reports that happened within this particular meeting that happened on this.
Okay. In fact, Anila Singh of the BJP is with us on the broadcast. Ms. Anila saying a big day in the Lok Sabha. The JPC report is going to be tabled, but the opposition has already started saying that the suggestions that we had given have not been taken up.
My Ram Ram to all, and definitely it is a big day, and we had been waiting for this for long, that it should be tabled in Parliament and discussion should be there and proper amendment should be made, because till date amendments were made by the opposition parties whenever they were in power to appease one particular religious community, and they wanted to other religious community, the major population living in this country of ours. So these Hindus, they will keep on crying. They will keep on making voices against the amendments in Waqf bill. But I am pretty sure that good sense will prevail, and good amendments which is going to give the equality to all the citizens coming from any religious community will be there. So let the opposition do the job, and let the ruling government, which believes in equality, do the job.
Okay, in fact, after the initial discussions in the parliament, it was the opposition that had called for a JPC on the same. They had said that there should be a discussion on the changes that are being brought in, after which a JPC had also been formed. There have been several discussions, but the opposition says that this was a mere eyewash, that discussions did take place, yes, but the opposition's suggestions were just not taken.
See, we have seen many dramatics in JPC meetings. We have seen that how, the people, they have thrown glass bottles on each other, and how the blood flew on the table and on their faces, just to appease the religious community, which is the vote bank of theirs. But this is not going to work now.
Okay, all right.
Bharat is changing.
Okay, all right. Ms. Anila Singh, thank you for joining us. So BJP is saying that there will be changes, and the changes have been brought about